Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and your Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the logical master of the tongue, and I say Barak to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the wars and rumors of wars as of June 27, 2026 on this on this Saturday night. And this is a news article from the Jerusalem Post, as we've been seeing, rising tensions, the heating up between Iran and the United States. With the battle of Strait of Hormuz, with those recent strikes that Iran did on those oil tankers. So the United States did a second round of strikes on Iran once again for the second day and the second night. It says U.S. strikes Iran as a 10th attacks dramatically reunites tensions. It says there may come a point when we are no longer able to reasonable and we forced the military to complete the job that we very successfully started, says U.S. President Donald Trump. Iran and U.S. exchange fires in the Strait of Hormuz. Yep, so wars and rumors of wars, Matthew's the 24th chapter. It's the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. It says, ye shall hear of wars, rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for such things must need be, but they is not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not going to end just yet. That's why we're seeing these wars and rumors of wars heating up, between these armies of nations. And then you're still going to have tensions heating up between Iran and the tensions are still going to heat up between Iran and Israel. And the pro-Iranian groups of Hezbollah going against the Israel Defense Force. This is Mark 13, verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom is kingdom, which we see that on a daily basis, which goes to Ephesus. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, so these are the beginning stages of sorrows. Of tensions or armies of nations are rising against one another on a daily basis. This is Luke 21 in verse 9. It says, and when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, that's what we're seeing on and on, back and forth, wars and commotions between Iran and Israel, and Iran and the United States, and tensions are heating back up, potentially the Strait of Hormuz between both of these armies of nations over there in the Persian Gulf. It says, but when ye shall hear of wars and rumors, right, it said, when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by end by. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but it's not going to end just yet, end by end by. Right, things to come. Luke 21, verse 10, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom is kingdom. Right, that's what we see. So I'm going to go to the Arab news. This is from the ArabNews.com. It says Trump threatens to annihilate Iran after a change of attacks. This is from Western Asia. Trump warns Tehran may cease to exist as ceasefire unravels, and launch missiles and drones attack on U.S. sites in Kuwait and Bahrain. It says the U.S. says it will not ignore attacks on Hormuz ships as both sides trade strikes. It says Israeli military says its targets suspected militants in South Lebanon airstrike. Yeah, so tensions are still heating up between these arms of nations. It says Hezbollah rejects U.S. broker of Lebanon security deal as surrender. Right, so they're not gonna. So Hezbollah, their leaders, army leaders, they're not gonna disarm and rip away. So they still gonna continue to go against the Israel Defense Force. So the tensions are still gonna be there, and then you're still gonna have clashes are still heating up between the Hezbollah armies and the Israel Defense Force armies. So that's an indicator we're still seeing wars and rumors of wars. Like it says in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 6. It says the Lebanese deal with Israel requires Hezbollah to disarm might be difficult, right? Because it's going to be extremely difficult because they're not going to disarm themselves. They're still going to continue to battle against the Israel Defense Force. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near them come up. Right, so let all the men of war draw near them come up over there in Western Asia, and that's what we're seeing. So tensions are still going to heat up over there in Western Asia. It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares and swords, and then punty hooks at the spears, let the weak sound strong. Right, so let the weak sound strong. And that's what we're seeing of these armies of nations. And definitely the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. And this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity rage war. Right, so we see the nations are in perplexity and siege rage war. It's the book of Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. So we see these modern nations and modern kingdoms are still being divided against one another, even though it's been up and down, back and forth. This is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 46. It says, and ye shall hear fame, ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, and a rumor shall come both 1 year after that, and another year shall come a rumor. Ruler against ruler, right? So we see modern ruler against ruler, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and the wars and rumors of wars that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verse 1. The prophecies about Damascus. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus take away from it the city, and that should be Israel heat, right? So Damascus of Syria, this is a future prophecy that we see in the making, come to pass, be fulfilled. So I won't be surprised the Iranians army continue to use strikes against the Kurdistan armies. And then you got the pro-Iranian groups and the proxy groups. They still going to be going against the Israel Defense Force, now allies. Over there, over there in Western Asia, especially particular over there, the Golden Heights, Iraq, Syria, in that region, over there in Western Asia. It's the book of Revelations, 9 and verse 12. It says, one will pass, and behold, there come two hither. It says, one will pass, and there come two wolves hither after. Right, so the one will pass, and there come two wolves hither after. It's the book of Revelations, 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Armageddon, on without one. Check out the news now. Yep, this is from Al Jazeera press agency 3 hours ago. The U.S. launched more strikes on Iran, while Iran launched more strikes on them as well, too, vice versa. As the tensions, the battle critical moves continue to heat up. Yeah, this is from Wall Story. Iran will no longer exist. Trump launches new bombing threats after fresh strikes. Yep, wars, rumors, wars. It says from PBS Online, it says U.S. military says it struck multiple targets in Iran as ceasefire is screened by a second day of attacks. It says new strikes test in Iran. It says new strikes test the Iran ceasefire. Yeah, First Thessalonians 5 verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them as a travail when the child shall not escape. It said thousands of civilians remain in Russian captivity amid the uncertainty and lack of charges. Right, because you still got that Russian-Ukraine situation that's still heating up as well too. PBS News Online says Iran drone attacked Bahrain and a ship in the Strait after the U.S. airstrikes. It says from Fox News, Gulf countries strong condemns Iran's drone attack on Bahrain as the rising tensions threatens the MOU. It says this is from the UPI. It says Israel Lebanon signs a ceasefire, but Hezbollah rejects it. Right, so they reject it. It says Ukraine submits a peace proposal and urge strong air defense. Right, that peace proposal is not going to work. It's going to be declined. And like I mentioned again, First Thessalonians 5 verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them as a children whom child cannot escape. Because we still live in a time of war, like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. And this is from the UA Wire. It says Finland lifts ban on nuclear weapons deployed, amending energy law and amending security concerns. It says Hezbollah leader criticized Israel Lebanon framework as a humiliation. It says this is from UA Wire. Ukraine strike critical Russian fuel hub near Moscow as a part of a 40-day campaign. Russia and Putin. Yeah, wars and rumors of wars. And this is from the UA Wire. It says South Korea scrambles fighter jets after Chinese and Russian aircraft enter air defense identification zone. It says Ukrainian strikes hits a Titan Bakhmut defense plant. A Belgrade causes fire and casualties. Yeah, wars and rumors of wars. Bring out that Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, because Russia and Ukraine situation is not going to intensify. Ezekiel 38 and verse 4. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them call for all sorts of armor, even in great couple bucks and shields." Right, so you're still going to have potential between the European Union and NATO versus Belarus and Russia. And then Russia-Ukraine situation, that's going to intensify as well too. But definitely particular NATO, NATO versus Russia. Read that once again. Revelations 11 verse 14. It says the second will pass, and behold, the third will come quicker. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quicker. So with that, hopefully this sit down, that's what's edifying of the World War III news. The wars and rumors of wars news updates as of June the 27th, 2026 on this Saturday night. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are their true names in ancient Paleo Hebrew, Rosh Hashanah tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles of Akima Akwa. Until next time, I would say Kol Yashirah, Yabal Ball, Shalom.